This is the Super Sports Schools podcast, bringing you stories of our future stars, powered by Spur Steak Ranchers.
1, 2, 3, go!
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Super Sports Schools podcast brought to you by Spur. I'm Alex White. If you've been keeping up with our episodes over the past couple of weeks, you'll know that we've been catching up with some of the young stars who are going to be competing at the Olympic Games this year, which start on Friday in Paris. But at Super Sports Schools, we often say World Cups are won 10 years before they're played, and that extends to Olympic medals. Somebody has a very good chance of representing South Africa at the next Olympic Games in Los Angeles in 2028 is the SA Under-18 110-meter hurdles record holder, Naeem Jack. So in this episode, I chat to Naeem to find out why he got into athletics and why he chose hurdles as his discipline of choice. We also discuss how he's able to balance online school with being a high-performance athlete at just 16 years old. Cool, Naeem, thanks so much for joining us. Welcome to the Super Sports Schools podcast. I think just to start off, can you introduce yourself?
My name is Naeem Jack. I'm 16 years old, based in Cape Town, and I do the 110-meter hurdles.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us today. We're going to talk about that 110-meter hurdles because obviously you hold the record in South Africa for under 18 at the moment. We're going to get to that. But before we get there, I think we want to start out, just get a better idea of how you've become the athlete you are, where it all started for you and why you got interested in athletics.
Yeah, so it all started in primary school. I can still remember my principal of the school. We did trials for athletics, and at the time it was sprint, so I ran and I never crossed the finish line, and my principal told me, Naeem, why are you stopping before the line? And then we re-ran and I won by 4, so I don't think I would have been there if it wasn't for our principal to say, Naeem, do the rerun. So yeah, athletics has always been a part of me. I knew that if I'm going to continue doing a sport throughout my career, athletics.
That's amazing that your principal made you run again. Do you know why you stopped before the line all the way back then?
No, I had no reason. I just, at the time, I didn't knew. I was just running.
Well, it's cool that you then got into athletics, the bug, I think, bits. Hurdles, when did that come about and why did you decide that was sort of the discipline for you?
Hurdles always interest me. You can start doing hurdles once you're in grade 4. And before that, I couldn't do hurdles because there was no hurdles for my age group. And once I got to the age group where I could start doing hurdles, I was really excited and I gave it a go and it worked out. I can remember my first year SS, but it didn't go as planned, but yeah, I learned from that, yeah.
I'm sure there've been lots of learning steps along the way like that where you've learned. And once you started hurdles, did you just focus on hurdles only or were you also running in different disciplines?
I was full on hurdles. Once I started the hurdles, I did hurdles up until grade 7, and then once I reached grade 7, but COVID struck, and then when I came back, I decided to do sprints as well.
Okay, and you've been doing those sprints as well now, so is that 100, 200, sort of those distances?
Yeah, 100, 200, but in season I focus on one event,
Okay.
one sprint event and the other event.
And you spoke about your principal sort of being the person who said, just run that again, that you kind of owe a lot to because that's how you got started. Talk to me a little bit more about the role that school has played in your early development as an athlete and some of the impact beyond just the principal making you run again that school has had.
That played a big role, at the time. The school where all that happened, where all of it began, it was a very athletic school. So I had the proper surrounding, the proper support system to uplift me and motivate me to continue doing athletics. And yeah, I think they played the biggest role up until today in my career of athletics. If it wasn't for them, I don't think I would have been there. I don't think I would have been in there.
Well, we're very happy that you are, especially here at Super Sports Schools, because we get to watch you running all the time, which is very cool. But when you were running and starting out at school, were there any athletes that you sort of looked up to, anybody that inspired you in hurdles or otherwise?
Yeah, I'm definitely in hurdles, but it's obviously a professional athlete. He's retired. Lu Zhang, it's a Chinese hurdler. There's always been something about him that interests me, just the way of him hurdling, and yeah,
100%. Well, that's cool that you had someone that you could look up to and sort of model after. When did you sort of think in school that this is actually something you could take quite far? This is something you are quite good at. You could sort of look to challenge a national under 18 record. When did you think that all of this could actually become reality?
Yeah, so I started to really think about I can actually make a big thing out of the Olympics after my first year of making essays, which was not too sure. I think it was 2017, and I ran essays. I came fifth at essays, and then the next year I joined the club. I started training. I started training a week before essays that year, and I won essays. So I knew that if I put more than just a week of training in, I can definitely make something big out of it.
Wow. Starting training just a week before. That's crazy. And now you're saying you put in that training. So what does a normal sort of week of training look like for you at the moment in season?
In season, it's slightly different to now. So
Yeah.
I'm currently into training. Unfortunately, I wanted my season to be a bit longer, but yeah, I'm in winter. So in winter, we'll start off. We're in a 10-week cycle now, which is speed endurance on a Monday. Then Tuesday we will do speed, Wednesday off, and then Thursday would be hurdle session and Friday gym.
Okay. And is that what's happening at the moment, or is that in season?
So that's what's happening now.
What's happening at the moment? Okay, cool. So how often are you actually sort of doing 110 meters, running at the hurdles, doing the actual sort of your event?
I never do like hurdles on training. It's always shorter. It's always about the most hurdles I'll do is about 5 hurdles, but 5 hurdles would be in season. It's never more than that. Last season, I can remember running one actual 110, but on training, but not the race pace.
That's quite interesting. On the podcast before, we've had Tumi Ramaphosa, who obviously does also very well at the hurdles, and she was saying that she also doesn't really go over many hurdles in training, and I found that quite interesting. So for you, is it sort of just once you've been doing it so much, actually getting over the hurdle is sort of just muscle memory, and it's just refining all the other aspects?
That's what I would say. You have to be talented. You have to be gifted with the talent to do that. I don't think anyone can just go and jump over a hurdle. And I can remember, you were speaking about Tumi. I can remember my in 2019 we ran in Germiston. Me and Tumi ran the same distance over the short hurdles, and she actually ran a faster time than me.
Oh, back in 2019, then you would have been about 11. So, well, she also would have been younger, actually, obviously. But I think she's maybe, is she a year older than you?
No, we're the same age.
The same age. Oh, okay, cool. So the same age, and yeah, I know now that she sort of has specialized in the longer distance hurdles. For you, has it always just been sprints, even with the hurdles?
No, it was when we came back from COVID. I never went into sprints immediately. I did 100-meter hurdles and 300-meter hurdles, and I only did the 300 for 1 year, which was 2021. And I won essays 300-meter hurdles, and I came second in the short hurdles. But the training is very difficult. Like, it's different training. You have to run long and short. So I decided to put my focus in one event, and I made the decision to go the short hurdles.
I find it quite interesting that actually the one you did better in that year is the one you decided not to specialize in. And I get that you talk about the training being different. So for you, do you just feel you maybe enjoy the training and the process for the shorter distances more?
I enjoy it much more. Like, it's tough training, but it's even tougher for 300 hurdles.
I can imagine. And to me, what the process she spoke about and the training she goes through, it did sound like there was a lot of endurance and working on that to make sure you can get around the track faster than most people can run without any hurdles on the track. But talking about you, the short distance, 110 meters, obviously everybody talks about 100 meters being so quick in normal sprinting, but 110 meters, it's 10 meters extra, and you've got a bunch of hurdles in the way. Do you have time to think during the event, or is it just sort of muscle memory, trying to go as quick as possible? What's going through your mind when you're running and competing?
All the thinking has to be done before the race, because once again, no time for any faults. Like, the hurdles are so close to one another. If you do anything wrong, it's over before the race even started. So yeah, it's all about muscle memory. You have to make all the decisions for the race, before the race.
That does make sense. And I mean, do you even have time to breathe during the race? I'm sure that's even quite focused and planned as well. How you breathe, when you breathe, that sort of thing.
Yeah, that all comes naturally. Like,
And then obviously, or I'm presuming that you're using the same leg as you're going over each hurdle. Did that also happen naturally? Which leg you're going to lead with many years ago? Just sort of that was the leg and you've stuck with it?
yeah, I've always been right leg, so everything I've done, like kick the ball, I kick the right leg, right, and so it all went together. And the only thing that changed over the years was the amount of steps I keep to the first hurdle. Like I should take 8, but currently I'm taking 7. So yeah, that's the only difference.
And what sort of impact does that have? The number of steps that you're taking before the first hurdle? Is it how big your stride is, how quick you're doing it, or what impact does it have? Because I'm sure that there's a reason behind that.
Yeah, so I'm very tall, so and my legs are very long. So in order for me to get 8 steps, I'll have to cut my stride short. So I decided to go with the 7 steps, which made it a bit easier, and I use less energy. So once I get over the first hurdle, if my rhythm is there over the first hurdle, I'll move away. But if I still have to work myself into the race, get the rhythm, I'll catch the person later in the race. But yeah.
And you talk about catching the person in the race. So when you're actually running, obviously you've said all the thinking and preparation's done before. You're not worrying about that during the race. But you obviously are aware of the people around you in the other lanes also running. You don't even necessarily need to look side to side, but you can see them there in your peripheral vision. So how much of you is sort of not necessarily worrying about, but being aware of where everybody is and what you need to do to come out in front?
Not much really, because I know guaranteed I'll catch you if you're in front of me. So it's not much pressure on me. As long as I clear the hurdles, I'll catch you. So I would rather run a clean race than knock all the hurdles and then I stress, because I know if I knock hurdles, I'll have a lower chance of catching you. So if I clear the hurdles, I'll definitely catch you. Like that's my mindset. I know I'll catch you.
I love what part of your mindset reveals there. You don't say that if you knock a hurdle, you've got no chance of catching them. It's just a lower chance. So if you do knock a hurdle, bump it, or I don't know, I feel like if I had to try hurdles, I just run straight through it. How do you recover from that? Which, even if it's the first hurdle upsetting your race, how do you recover?
It's all part of training again. Like I can remember one training last season, in season, I took a huge hit on training. I was out of training. So it all comes with training, and once I hit the hurdle in the race, I'm ready, because it happened in training. And I can remember in the race at SA, I clipped the hurdle and I reacted good enough and I reacted quick and I recovered, and it worked out to my way. Yeah.
So there's a nice bit of resilience there. It's not always just plain sailing, and you do have to be able to deal with things as they come up. I like that. It's obviously something that you're aware of and something that you build into the preparation and the training. And I think that's quite cool. We've spoken a bit about the training now. We've spoken a bit about your mindset and how you go about approaching an event.
Bringing you the sport you care about the most, this is the Super Sports Schools Podcast.
Come on, wake up now. Who got zombie? Wake up now. Sequilatos cat. Wake up now. Who got my sign? Get up and
With 15 delicious breakfasts, Spur is the place to be until 11 every morning. Enjoy an unreal breakfast for just $56.90. Spur, people with a taste for life.
wake up now. Come on, yeah.
Bringing you the sport you care about the most, this is the Super Sports Schools Podcast.
I want to now build up to last year in Pietermaritzburg, the SA Champs. And as we slowly get there, I want to just find out from you, when did you first think that going after the national under-18 record was something that you wanted to do? Did you have a personal best in mind? I want to kind of get a feeling for what it was like last year building up to Pietermaritzburg.
I had a good start to the season. I can remember my first 110 ever. I ran a 13:39, and that was pretty close to the national record. And I knew that if we put the work in, we'll definitely get the record. me and my coach, we always have that in mind of chasing a record. Every year we aim for a national record. Besides the title, we aim for the record. And I would say the beginning of the season, after my first race, my goal was to get that SA record. And yeah, on the day, I never knew I was going to get it because it was wind. But yeah, I just worked out in my way and I got the record.
And I just want to check, how old were you last year when you set that record?
Last year I was 15 when I did
So you were 15, setting the under 18 national record, 13.25, I think, in Pietermaritzburg, in March. And obviously that stood for almost a year. Almost a year, it's exactly.
Almost.
And then along comes Mototsi Ndao in Pretoria and runs a, let me just check here, 13.15, so betters it by 0.1. And then within 2 weeks, you come out and run 13.10. So, and which is, just to be clear, so that everyone at home knows how incredible this is, you were 16, you ran 13.10, which is the fourth fastest under 18 time ever run by anyone in the world. So and you were 16, just to put that into perspective. Let's go through those couple of weeks. When did you hear that Mototsi Ndao had broken your record, and what were your immediate thoughts?
So I heard about the news the same day that went, and I was shocked, but it wasn't something that I knew I couldn't deal with, because I never had a proper hurdle race that season. So if I ran a race and my time wasn't up there, then I would have started to worry a bit. But the fact that I never ran a race yet, so it never bothered me. And then I went on to run the Western Province Junior Champs, and I ran a 12.95, but it was wind aided, so I wasn't too shocked about it. And I don't think a lot of people know about it, me running the 12.9. So yeah, after that, my confidence just went up. I think I needed that race after I saw the result of my tots. So I knew that I was going to get the record, as I said.
I think always being competitive obviously helps you push and do better and perform to a higher standard. So I think obviously Mototsi's 13.15 was a bit of motivation for you. Tell me about when you then got to Pretoria, ran the 13.10, 13.1. What were you thinking, and what was that preparation like for that race on the day? Take us through it.
The preparation was good, not gonna lie. The only thing I was a bit worried about was I came into the competition with a slight hamstring strain after running the 12 here in Cape Town. I mean, it was a really fast race. I never ran that fast yet, so my body was shocked and it went into shock mode. So yeah, I never got time to see a physio after that race, so I had to wait 2 weeks later to get to Pretoria to see my physio. On the day, I can remember before the final, I was told my body was finished because I ran 4 races on one day, which was the 100 heat semi and the final, as well as the hurdle heat on the same day. And then I just trusted my coach, trusted my physio, trusted myself. All the work has been done. There's nothing you can do at the moment. It's all about how you handle it mentally. And I think I went into the competition mentally strong. Like I've never been that strong mentally before. And I had a goal, which was to break the SA record. As long as there was a goal for me to get, I would have gotten it. So yeah, the preparation was really well. It's only that I came into the comp with a slight injury, but I never mentioned it because no one wants to know about that. Everyone just wants to know after Naeem Jack won, and that's what everyone knew after the race.
Well, I think it's cool that we're hearing now that you were actually running that race and coming off the back of an injury that was still sort of niggling, and you were still able to get 13.1, like I said, fourth fastest time ever run for an under 1,810 meter hurdles, fastest in South Africa ever, and the fastest this year by anyone in the world, under 1,810 meter hurdles. Now that you're the sort of fourth fastest in the world at 16, as we speak now, you're still 16. I think as far as I'm aware, you'll turn 17 during the Olympics, but 110 meter hurdles, 13.1, going into the future, what are you looking to bring it down to?
Next year, the end of the year, I'm running in October, so my aim is I just want to put it out there, my aim is to break the world record, which is 12.8. And I think I can do it. So the next competition is in October, and obviously next year under 20. I would like to run 13.0 And as the years go, I would just like to bring my times on, and hopefully in the next Olympics, I'll be there, and not just be there, I'll be there to get the spot on the podium as well.
Oh, that's awesome. I think we are definitely hoping that we're going to see you at the next Olympics in the United States in 2028. And I think having a target of 12.8 is, especially since you've run 12.95, even if it was wind aided, you're going in the right direction. The trajectory is going the right way. Last year, 13.25. This year, 13.1. That's an enormous step in the right direction. So I think if it keeps going like that, you are still only 16. So the best and theoretically most productive years for any athletes are still to come for you. So I think we're really excited to see where that goes. If you were to have any sort of words of advice for yourself, looking back where you've come from to where you are when you began, anything that you would have done differently or something you wish you would have known back in the day when you sort of started out?
I don't think there's much, because I've always been a hard worker and I've always put in the work. So I don't think there's anything that I would change, I am where I am today, and I have achieved what I've achieved today because I started on a good note, started with a proper support system, with a proper parents, coach that I had behind me. So yeah, I wouldn't change anything really.
Cool. No, I think it's good that you've always had that hard work ethic and been focused, and it very much comes across that you know what you want to achieve and you have a plan in place. So I think that's really good and puts you in a good position to definitely challenge that world record one day, and it would be so cool if we could see that happen. Your immediate plans for this year, going into the next athletic season towards sort of term 4 in school speak, what are your plans and what are you looking to sort of achieve during the rest of the year?
So my season is pretty much done. I have one race coming up in October, like I said, and that's the preparation going well towards that. Hopefully I can get the time I want there. And then we'll go into the preseason. I don't think we'll be running much in preseason, and then hopefully make the transition into the 2024 season good and start on a good note. So yeah, we'll see from there whether I'm going to do 100 or 200 in season as well as the 110 hurdles.
Oh, we mustn't forget about that you're also going to be sprinting as well. Do you have a favorite out of all these events? I mean, is it the hurdles because you've done so well at it, or maybe there's another one that's actually close to your heart?
Oh, the hurdles always have a special place in my heart because I got the opportunity to do hurdles. I've done it, but if I had to choose between the 100 and the 200, I'd say the 200. Yeah, I enjoy it. The 100 goes too quick. There's just no barriers. I run enough quick races with barriers, so it's time to make a change up, which is in the 200. So yeah, I enjoy the 200 more than the 100.
You have the added difference to your 110 meter hurdles that you've got that curve at the start of the 200 that you obviously don't have.
That's the only race you can actually think of. You can think while you're running. In the 110, there's no time for thinking. In the 200, there's time for thinking.
And does that help, or does that actually make it a bit more challenging that you have time for your thoughts to take over?
I think it makes it a bit more challenging, to be honest, because you start thinking, where's the guy? Is the guy coming? Where's the guy not coming? So it's best to not think and just run.
Yeah, don't think, just do. Awesome. So we've spoken about your plans for the future. We've spoken about your training, what goes into everything. And like I said earlier, it really comes across that you are committed and that you have a strong work ethic. And I think what's always interesting for other young athletes out there who might be watching or listening and thinking that they want to take whatever their discipline might be further, just a few comments from you on how you balance the school, work and athletics life.
Oh, that's tough. I'm tough, not gonna lie. So no matter what you try and do, it will be tough, because if it was easy, everyone would have been doing it. But yeah, I started homeschooling, which makes it a bit easy for me to balance it out. And yeah, I just always try and make time for my schoolwork as well. It's not just all about athletics. So yeah, I try and sit down with my books when I have time. And yeah, that's pretty much how I balance it out.
Cool. Yeah, I think we hear that a lot from our future stars who are excelling while they're still in school. People we talk to on the show, they're always saying that it's about the balance and finding the time. So that's pretty consistent. thanks for that. We're going to go now into the Supersport Schools podcast quiz. Going to give you a bit of a challenge. We have questions to do with all sorts of sport here, not just athletics, and it covers school sport, normal sport. Basically, you have 60 seconds. You just have to get as many answers correct as you can in those 60 seconds. If you don't know an answer, just say pass or just try and guess something, and then we'll go to the next question. Cool. All right. Naeem Jack, South Africa's under-18 110-meter hurdles record holder. Are you ready to play the quiz?
Let's go.
Your time starts now. Who captained South Africa at the Cricket T20 World Cup this year?
No false.
It's Aiden Markram. True or false? South Africa's first ever Olympic medal was for the 100 meters?
False.
It's true. Which team was crowned unofficial champions of the 2024 Under-18 Craven Week, Western Province or the Griffins? That's correct. Who won the men's 2024 Euros, England or Spain?
England.
It was Spain.
What
What is the channel number of Supersport Schools?
Sports schools 216.
Correct. True or false? Gareth Southgate has resigned as England football coach?
True.
That's correct. The world record for the men's 110-meter hurdles is 12 point what?
What though?
The 110-meter hurdles, the world record, 12 point?
80.
Correct. True or false? By medal count, athletics is South Africa's most successful Olympic discipline?
True.
That's correct, and time is up. I think I'm going to give you the Euros one because you gave me Spain as I was about to tell you. So let me...
Speaking of last year.
Cool. You got 6, which is better than average. So congratulations, Naeem. Well done for that. I think sometimes those 60 seconds can go quicker than the 13.1.
It felt like 10 seconds.
Just before we let you go, any words of advice for anybody who wants to take whatever sport they're doing at school further, and anything from you as somebody who has had so much success already at the age of 16?
Yeah, so what advice I could give is to trust your coach, give your coach time and always be consistent. You know, people don't see results after years, 2 years. Lots of people are different. Some people will see results after a year, some people will see results after 2 years. So just make sure you do your part and it will definitely pay off.
Awesome. Naeem, thanks so much for joining us and all the best for the rest of the year.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thanks so much for joining me for another episode of the Supersport Schools podcast brought to you by Spur. There are new episodes every Sunday at 6 p.m. here on channel 216. And you can also catch up on any episodes that you've missed out on DSTV Catch Up on YouTube, on the Supersport Schools app, and on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. The Olympic Games starts on Friday in Paris. There are a bunch of young stars competing. If you want to find out more about them, head to supersportschools.com. But until next time, bye-bye.
This has been the Supersport Schools podcast, bringing you stories of our future stars, powered by Spur Steak Ranchers.